chapter Integers for grade 7. Topic Division of Integers. Hello everyone. In my previous video, I have explained multiplication of integers. In this video, I will explain division of integers. Before starting with the division of integers, I will just revise the terms which we use for division. The number which we are dividing is called as dividend. The number by which we divide is called as divisor. The final answer after dividing we get is called as the quotient, and the number which remains after completing the division is called as the remainder. So these are the important terms: dividend, divisor, quotient and remainder. We know that all positive numbers 0 and all negative numbers are integers. Like multiplication, here also we will understand what result we will get when we divide two integers having same sign, and what result we will get when we divide two integers having different signs. First, we will start with division of two integers having like signs. Like signs means same sign. The quotients of integers having like or same signs is positive. That means when we divide a positive integer by other positive integer, the result will be a positive number. Or in other words, we can say when the dividend is positive and the divisor is positive, the quotient will be positive. Similarly, when we divide a negative integer with another negative integer, we get a positive number. Or in other words, again we can say when dividend is negative and divisor is negative, the quotient will be positive. So finally we have to remember, when the dividend and divisor both have same signs, either both are positive or both are negative, the quotient is always positive. We will see examples over here. First example is 27 divided by 3. Here we are not writing plus 27 or plus 3 because we know that when no sign is written in front of a number, it is a positive number or positive integer. So 27 divided by 3, we get quotient as 9. In second example, both the integers are negative. Minus 72 divided by minus 9. So what we will do, like multiplication, again we will divide the absolute values of the integers. So we will divide 72 by 9. So we will get 8 as the quotient. And then we know that both the integers are having same sign, so the result will be positive. So here both the integers are negative, so we will get the final answer as plus 8 or just 8. Now second condition, division of two integers having different signs. The quotient of integers having different signs is always negative. When we divide a positive integer by a negative integer, we get a negative number. In other words, we can say when a dividend is positive and divisor is negative, the quotient will be negative. Similarly, negative integer divided by a positive integer, we get a negative number. In other words, negative dividend and positive divisor gives you a negative quotient. Final statement we have to remember, when dividend and divisor both have different signs, the quotient is always negative. First example, 36 divided by minus 6. 36 is the dividend and minus 6 is the divisor. So here dividend is positive and divisor is negative. So here we will divide the absolute value. So 36 divided by 6 we get 6. Dividend is positive and divisor is negative, that means both are having different sign, so the result will be negative. So the answer will be minus 6. 36 divided by minus 6 is equals to minus 6. Second example, minus 56 divided by 8. Minus 56 is the dividend and 8 is the divisor. So your dividend is negative and divisor is positive. So we will divide the absolute value, that is 56 divided by 8. So we get 7 as the answer. The dividend is negative and divisor is positive. So the result will always be a negative. So when we divide minus 56 by 8, we get minus 7 as the final answer. I have summarized the important points in a tabular form. So now we will revise it. First case, when dividend is positive and divisor is positive, the quotient is always positive. That means when both dividend and divisor are positive, quotient is always positive. For example, 28 is a positive dividend, 2 is a positive divisor, so the quotient is also positive, that is 14. When dividend is negative and divisor is also negative, the result we get or the quotient is positive. Here minus 28 is the dividend, minus 2 is the divisor. Both dividend and divisor are negative, so the quotient will be positive, that is 14 or plus 14. From this we have to remember that when both dividend and divisor have same sign, we always get a positive quotient. In second condition, when dividend is positive and divisor is negative, we get quotient as negative. For example, 28 is the dividend divided by minus 2, which is a divisor, we get minus 14 as the quotient. When dividend is negative and divisor is positive, we get negative quotient. Minus 28 is the dividend, 2 is the divisor, dividend is negative and divisor is positive, so the quotient is negative. From these two examples, we have to remember that when dividend and divisor have different signs, then quotient is always negative. Now I will explain some important properties of division of integers. First property is, if a and b are integers, then a divided by b is not necessarily an integer. For example, 35 divided by 5 is equals to 7 and this is an integer. Whereas 38 divided by 5, we get 7.6 and this is not an integer. Here 7 is a whole number and 7.6 is not a whole number. We know that integers are positive or negative whole numbers. So here 7 is a whole number, so it is an integer, but 7.6 is not a whole number, so it is not an integer. That's why we say that if a and b are integers, then a divided by b is not necessarily an integer. That means the result will not be an integer. If a divided by b are integers, then a divided by b is not equals to b divided by a. For example, for multiplication, when we multiply 2 into 4, we get 8 as a result. And when we multiply 4 into 2, then also we get 8 as the answer. But this is not the case over here. If we divide minus 14 by 2, we get answer as minus 7. Minus 7 is a negative whole number, so it is an integer. But when we divide minus 2 by 14, we get answer as minus 0.14. It is not an integer as it is not a whole number. Third property, When dividend is 0, the quotient is always 0. That is, 0 divided by a is 0. For example, 0 divided by 9 is 0 or 0 divided by minus 7 is 0. Next property is when divisor is 0, that is a divided by 0, it is a meaningless operation. That's why the result is not defined or it is said to be undefined. That means if it is given to you that 19 divided by 0, you will write it is not defined or it is undefined. Similarly, when dividend and divisor both are 0, then the result is not defined. That means it is meaningless. That's why we say 0 divided by 0 is not defined. Next property, when a is any integer, a divided by 1 is equals to a. That means when any integer is divided by 1, the dividend and the quotient will be same. For example, 271 divided by 1 is equals to 271. Minus 360 divided by 1 is equals to minus 360. In both the cases, the dividend and the quotient is same. I hope all the explanation and the examples which I have taken in this video are clear to you and will be helpful to you. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.